Here we are to try and talk
Puppy
about puppies.
wrangling. Excuse me, sorry.
I'm being wriggled. Come here.
Can you come here?
Come here.
Is that where are you going? Are you a parrot or a puppy?
Do you get your puppy under control? Okay.
Oh,
Welcome.
good afternoon. Puppy wrangling at its best.
Okay.
So today we're talking puppies. So these are two Cairn Terrier puppies that are 7.5 weeks of age.
Who's are these?
These are Lily babies
Lilies.
and Apple.
Lily and Apple.
Lily and
Oh.
Apple babies.
Okay.
I'm going to go and adventure over there. Say hello to Auntie Rachel.
Hi.
Oh, up the sleeve.
Hello. Oh, I bet I smell quite funny, don't I?
Oh, you smell of
Oh,
horses.
yeah, I've come from the yard, so I bet I stink.
Auntie Rachel smells of horse.
Yes.
Right, so today everything is about puppies. We're going to take you from... or maybe we won't.
This might be an entertaining video. Come
It
here.
might be very entertaining.
Right.
Whose idea was it to have puppies?
Right.
This is all fine for outtakes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think people just think we're hilarious at this point. Going, what on earth am I watching?
What are we doing? Start at the beginning. Where do puppies come from? When we first think about having a litter, we have to work through the health tests for the breed, looking at the specific health tests. Each breed has different health tests. For Cairn Terriers, it's recommended that they have their eyes tested, and also we do the additional liver screening as well to look at the function of the liver, just to make sure that that's absolutely fine.
Who are you testing? The parents?
The parents,
Everybody?
yes,
The whole line behind them?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, all the line behind them. We've been doing health testing now for about 20 years on our dogs. So that's eye testing for about 15 and liver function for probably about the same amount of time, really. So we've got quite a few generations that are health tested. So, but the Kennel Club does recommend that all parents, sires and dams as they're officially known, are health eye tested before we do a mating. So the eye testing has to be an official eye test that happens at a specialist vet. So we get the health test, the eye tests are undertaken, and then the parents of these puppies went through all the health testing when they were 8 to 10 weeks old themselves. So we know that they are done. Once the health testing is all in place, we look at pedigrees and we look for compatibility. We do a thing called line breeding. So we look for one or two common denominators in a pedigree across 5 or 6 generations. So we're looking at parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, back to 6 generations behind what the puppies will be. And we're looking at the dogs. I've got personal knowledge of most 6, 7 generation pedigrees in Cairn Terriers nowadays, and we'll know a lot of the dogs in those pedigrees. So can look back and look for traits that I want to see in the next generation. Okay. So that's things like good heads. We won't get into conformation today, but we just talk about the traits that we want. Personality, tail carriage, well-behaved puppies. So we look for that compatibility across pedigrees. Once we arrive at that, then we run a thing on the Kennel Club website called the inbreeding coefficient. So we'll look for that. Each breed has a defined coefficient, and the ideal guide is that we don't go above that for mating.
Yes, it's a percentage.
Yeah, so it's a percentage of parents are common to both the mum and dad. So we look for that. And then providing that figure comes out okay, then we'll do the proposed mating. The girls come into season once every 6 months, and that is any 6 months, and that is any cycle. Some come every 4, some come every 8. So we'll wait for them to come into season, and then on day 10 or 12 of that season...
I've got 2! Oh no!
There we go, she wanted to come to you.
Right, okay. Oh, good.
Shall we swap?
Should we... Is it... Come back.
Come here. Shall we have you for a bit? Come on then. There we go. Hi. Hello. So once the bitch has been in season 10 or 12 days, again that's textbook, some are as early as 4, some as late as 18, then we'll take her to the boy and hopefully we'll get a mating.
Yep.
Which I think we can probably cover later in another...
Does it have to be in-person mating?
No, we can use AI nowadays.
Which stands for
not artificial intelligence, artificial insemination. Yes, when I keep hearing the term AI, I'm used to it now. Everyone's talking about computer AI, and I'm talking about artificial insemination. It was a bit odd when that term first came out. So we can use AI. We've imported semen from a couple of overseas countries, and we've sent semen to Norway and Australia as well. So from our stud dogs. So yes, and it enables us to broaden out the gene pool and help other countries as well. And we collect semen from all of our stud dogs as well. Yeah. So that's all stored. Yes. Yeah, I see it as an insurance policy, just in case disaster happens, and we can lose in a generation all of our breeding stock. So, like I say, that's an insurance policy. So we do that with every stud dog. So once she's been mated, dogs have a 9-week gestation period. So that's from the point of mating to the date they'll have puppies. And it's not set in stone. Sometimes it can be 55 days, most on average 63, 9 weeks. So throughout the pregnancy, we carry on pretty much as normal. Certainly with the Norwich Terriers, everything is normal. No food increases or anything. And but with the Cairns, usually once we know they're pregnant, then we'll increase food a bit. With the Norwich, we don't, because we don't want big puppies. We want decent sized puppies, but if they're too big, then the Norwich, being small themselves, can struggle to bring them out and bring the babies. So we'll usually increase exercise as soon as we know that the bitch is definitely pregnant. We'll put her on a daily walking routine. So yes, exercise. So when you were in your mummy's tummy, you went out every day for a walk, didn't you? Yes. So usually at 4 weeks, we know that they are pregnant. We'll either see that ourselves because their nipples will be up, so they'll start swelling up, the tummy will start becoming like a little pot low down, or if we're not sure, then just for planning, we'll take them and have them scanned. So the exercise, that's designed to keep the bitch fit and well. So we do that with both breeds, the Cairns and the Norwich. They'll get a 15-20 minute walk with another dog if they're not too big, but later, if their tummies get big, then we take them out on their own and at a pace that suits them. Mm-hmm. These are from a litter of 7, and Lily, their mummy, was absolutely enormous when her babies were in her belly. And the last 3 or 4 days, she still wanted to go for a walk, but it was very slow, and her belly went shudum, shudum, shudum as she waddled up the road. Yes, that was exercise and care in the early days.
So we continue.
Here we are with some 8-week-old puppies that are merrily chewing on our fingers, but at least they're sat relatively still.
They're not wriggling right now.
Not wriggling too much until they get bored in a few minutes, I'm sure. Ow. So what we're going to talk about today is what happens when you were still in your mummy's tummy and it gets close to birth time. Things that lead us to know that the mummy is going to have puppies are: she will start nest building. So we put them to give birth in a room on their own. We set up CCTV so that we don't need to keep disturbing her.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt and ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because other people might be thinking, why am I just letting the puppy just have a little nibble on my fingers? Is this naughty, or should I just... Is it just a puppy thing they're going to do because I taste different and I'm somebody new?
So puppies taste their way through the world. And part of what they're doing now is tasting you to see if you're tasty.
So this won't lead to a puppy that thinks it's okay to bite or anything like that?
Possibly. But for me, it's horses for courses. And we want this puppy, in this instance, to sit still. And he's just nibbling on you, tasting you. It's not hurting. It's not like he's being nasty and biting.
He's just having a little chew.
He's just having a little gnaw. So
you're looking at me.
If he was on the floor and you were sat with him and he's coming at you and he's really biting nasty, then that's a bit different. Auntie Rachel has a very calming influence. Sleep. Not happening with you, is it? I can't remember what I was talking about now.
CCTV. Set CCTV.
Oh, yeah. So we set the CCTV up. Pre-CCTV, we used to check on the girls about every half an hour, and that constantly disturbs them. And they're like, oh, what are you in here for? So with CCTV now, we can just leave them to settle and get on with the early stages of whelping themselves. Sometimes bitches will be in those early stages 24, 48 hours, where they'll actually be really getting on with having puppies, but there's not really any contractions. Everything's starting to settle down. Some girls go off their food, some don't. We've had bitches eat not as they're giving birth, but within hours of giving birth. Their mum had a meal after 5 puppies, and I thought, great, she's finished now. And 20 minutes later, after eating a big bowl of food, she popped another 2 out. Oh, wow. So yeah, so there's textbook, and then there's obviously reality with all of these things. It doesn't always happen how you think it will. No, absolutely not. So as soon as we start seeing contractions, and they're very obvious, heaving the sides of her, we'll push in, and then we'll actually go and sit with them. Yeah. So we set up a little camp, because we know we're in there then potentially. Most whelpings, but not all, happen overnight. So in will go the chair and the notebook and reading material for in between puppies and all of that to set us up. Come back. And then we just sit with her and an all-night vigil, really. So once she starts, contractions are really, really strong, and she might get up, she might wander around, she'll rip blankets, and obviously being quite an anxious state, but she's just giving birth. I don't mean that just giving birth. She is giving birth, but she's well into those stages of pushing the puppies out. Then we'll get on our hands and knees and help and see what's happening. At the moment, we whelp our bitches on the floor in one of these oval boxes that I mentioned, but we are in the process of designing a chair height whelping box, which will be really useful. I mean, I'm not old, but I can't be scrabbling around on my hands and knees all night now, because it's just does my back in, does my knees in, does my wrist in, and I can't walk properly for 2 or 3 days. Especially if it takes a little while to actually I mean, the whelping can be from anywhere from, like I've said, I don't know, really, a couple of hours up to 2 days. So it can be quite a drawn out process. The actual giving birth bit, where the puppies are popping out, these, she had 5 in an hour, and then she ate. Then we waited 3 hours, and then she had another 2. So that having 5 in an hour is going some. They're not normally that quick at popping the puppies out. Was she first time mum? Yeah, first time mum. Does it matter whether they've done it before sometimes or not? They're first. Does it matter if what? Does it matter whether they've done it before? They just know what they're doing. Yeah, no, they do the instinct. It's amazing where the instinct comes from. Her first puppy came out, and she was like, "Oh, what's that?" Yeah. And then you could see the clogs go round and think, "Oh, that's my puppy." And then she was helping me. I was in there tearing the bag. The puppies are born in the sack, and are they in individual bags? Yes. Yeah. When they come out, they're in individual bags. So the puppy comes out. Yeah. Horses just have one. Yeah, they just do have one. Yeah. Okay. So they come out in individual bags, and if it comes out in its entirety with the placenta attached as well, then the puppy will be in the sack, and it's kind of moving its legs, and it's just this heap. Okay. So you tear the sack by its face. Ooh. And then we use kitchen roll and dry the puppy's face, and then take the sack off the rest of it, tear the umbilical cord I hold it there with between my thumb and nail and my finger, and tear it like that. Or you can cut it with scissors, and then dry the puppy. And some mums really want to be involved, and they're in and they're nosing and seeing what you're doing. Other bitches are just like, oh no. Lala, when she had her very first puppy, popped the puppy out and shot off across the other side of the room, and was like not having anything to do with that. So that was quite entertaining. So the birth can be quite stressful for us, obviously stressful for her. And then the babies too, because they've had quite the journey coming out and into life. But what astounds me, as soon as they've popped out, you've cleared all the fluid from around their muzzle and everything, and they're off then. They're scrabbling around and drawn by smell and the warmth straight to the Milky Bar, and within under a minute they're there suckling the Milky Bar. Yeah,
wow.
Yes, it's as quick as that.
That's amazing.
And then within the first 24 hours they've plumped up from being skinny little sausages to looking like they've eaten a golf ball. They get great big fat bellies on them. So the birth is quite stressful, and then some people say, how do you know she's finished? We can have a poke and a prod in her belly just gently to feel if there's any more babies come out. But the bitch then will adopt a sort of different demeanour. It's like she completely relaxes. She'll clean herself, clean the puppies.
Just take a breath and just go,
And she just goes, I'm done. And then
have any more ever popped out after that stage, or is that
generally... there's a really weird thing called the pregnant pause, and there's this whole thing about this on the internet that you can Google and read, and that's where sometimes they'll have just a natural pause in whelping, and for 24, 48 hours, and then another puppy will pop out after that.
So, that long?
Yeah,
I thought you might say like 20 minutes or something.
No, because you can allow... It can be quite stressful when if you get sort of 3 hours between a puppy. So when they're actually having the puppies, it's quite a constant, I'm going to say machine, but it's not like that. It's just a constant where she's putting the puppy out, and then she'll let that one feed, and then the contractions will start again. Okay. With the sort of pregnant pause, what will happen is it's like she's finished, and then another puppy. Several breeders that I've spoken to over the years have reported that, she may have had 6 all in one day, and then they'll go in the nest a couple of days later, and there'll be 7. And it's like, well, where did that come from? Yeah. And that's just popped out later. So, it's that can happen. And then the early days, it's looking after the bitch as well as the puppies, but the bitch more so, because you have to feed accordingly. Where are you going? He says, to be a parrot with mummy. So we've had these 2 big litters, which is a 7 and an 8, which is unusual really in cairns. Most often it's sort of 4 or 5. So the best producer of milk we've found is meat, predominantly tripe. So these 2 mummies were just basically fed constantly all day, 6, 7, 8 meals a day. So that would be probably, if that was in packets, probably around 1 kilo of meat a day.
That's quite a lot.
It's a huge amount. Yeah.
In
the early days, to keep the milk in, because you need to get the milk flowing and then keep it in, and they put every little bit of themselves into the milk for the puppies, and that's what produces good strong puppies. Okay. And we'll mess. My Irene absolutely refused to eat with her first litter, and she had 7, and I had to hand feed her 4 times a day with tiny little bits of food. If I broke up a bit of meat and it was too big, she'd take it off me, spit it out, and then I'd have to break it in half, and then she'd eat it. So some bitches we pamper too like that, because obviously you've got to look after them because they've got the babies. So you have to. And we feed a kibble as well mixed into the meat for a different balance of nutrients. We don't give any supplements like calcium or anything like that, because we think if they've had a good, healthy, balanced, quality diet before, throughout, and after, then they should generally be okay. And as a rule of thumb for us, that sort of worked to date. So for the first 2 weeks, really, it's just looking after the bitch, making sure she's got plenty of milk. Not too much milk, because, of course, they can get mastitis. So, and we've had a couple of bitches over the years with that.
Your teeth off me.
So, and then equally, it's feeding them so they get plenty of food, and then making sure that the pups are all right. So they have to have their nails trimmed at the end of the first week when they've been with us, because you get a tiny little white tip come on the end of their nails. So that's the nail growing. So we trim those, make sure their bottoms are clean, and their a little umbilical area, their little belly button, that's all clean and heals nicely.
Come here.
So it's just those general care things, really. The most important thing in the first 2 weeks is to make sure that the bitch doesn't get the mastitis, and that's just feeling her mammary glands a couple of times a day. feeling for hot spots. And sometimes puppies will orientate with smaller litters to particular teats and then abandon others.
Okay.
And they'll have a favourite teat that that puppy wants to suckle on. Mine's gone calm now. See, I can have a calm puppy.
I did that for you.
So my favourite time of the first couple of weeks is when their eyes start to open.
Yes.
And it's really, really cute. So cute. We always call it eye day because they tend to open all together across sort of a period of 24 hours.
I always have this image of the puppies just being like this, and then all of a sudden they all just go,
kind of. They have little slits from the side, and sometimes you can see like half an eye, and then the morning time there'll be a whole eye.
So they're actually sealed shut.
Yes, which is quite cute. And then they just kind of open just slowly. It's like a zip and zipping. Yeah, it's really,
Suddenly
really
see
cute.
the world.
Yeah. So once they get their eyes, that's when we really start. I suppose we've started the socialisation beforehand, right from young, with lots of handling and just picking them up out of the nest, touching their feet, running our fingers up their tails, holding their back legs and tickling their toes, checking their ears, and just handling their heads and everything in general. And then with eyes, that's the first time then they'll leave the nest. So once they get their eyes, what we do then is bring them into the lounge with the TV on, just literally put a blanket on the floor, carry them all in, they plonk on the blanket, they look around a bit, and then they go, oh, where am I? Oh, and go to sleep.
It's all just too much.
Yeah. And that's literally the first time when they're 2 weeks old, we start that. And then every day they come into the lounge. At 4 weeks, we start carrying them to the front gate under the porch. So then they can look down the drive and see the traffic going past, get used to different sounds.
And how important is it to do that like as early as you can? Really
important. The younger that puppies are, the better they accept things.
Yes.
You have to watch not to do too much too young. You can set up a lot of fear in dogs if you do too much too soon. Okay. So it's finding that happy medium. But over the years now, and you can purchase a copy if you're interested, we've developed a socialisation programme which goes 0 to 12 weeks of activities to do in every week or span of weeks that the puppies are with us, things we'll do. So, for example, it's like, we just do it on our phones now. We used to have a DVD, but we'll just play the fireworks sounds.
Yeah, just quietly.
Just different things like that to get them used to it. Seeing the TV, they go out and they play out by the washing machines is one of their play spaces, which people think is a bit odd, but it just gets them used to all the different sounds as part of play.
Yeah,
I think puppies turn out better, make better adults when life is just introduced as a fun, play, normal item.
Yeah, everything sort of in the background, just happening.
Absolutely, and we do all of our show training in exactly the same way as well. So once they're 5 weeks, then they stand on the famous footstool and with a chunk of cheese or a chunk of ham or something, and they start their show training. And it is literally just plonking them on there, letting them lick a bit of cheese and plonking them back on the floor. So, and then they'll learn, they always take food from my right hand and they always walk on my left. And that's just life. It's not a specifically trained thing. So life is orientated towards the show ring right from tiny puppies. And I noticed the food from the right hand thing several years ago when I offered 2 puppies treats, one in my left hand, one in my right hand. I just went like that and they both took treats from my right hand and ignored my left hand. And I was like, why is that? And then when you start to analyse the way that you engage with them, that's because that hand always produces food. And it's just, it's weird things like that you notice over the years. And that's a fantastic thing as well, fascinating to see the traits track down the generations. Now I've been at it for so long and can see 7, 8, 9, possibly 10 generations of dogs. You see things track down. We used a dog called Norman in Denmark, and I kept a son called Norman, And he was the first one of my cairns that would put his toes out of the bars of a cage and use his toes like fingers to scoop whatever it was that he wanted closer to him. And then all of his grandchildren and children down from him do exactly the same. And it's really interesting. Ow! So we breed.
That's a strange thing that you wouldn't think they'd pick up through breeding.
This is genetics.
You think it's just something that
absolutely. And we've debated this long and hard, me and other breeders, because we select for conformation traits, then inadvertently I think we select behaviours as well. There's very few of ours now we actually have to train to put their tails up. They just do it. And they'll stand 4 square now, which is exactly what we want for the show ring. And that's just years of selectively breeding and picking puppies that do that. So the more they do it, the more I suppose we select, and that gene then is stronger.
It's just in their nature, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
then we pop out little show trained babies, don't we? That just need a little bit of shaping rather than full on training. And really with the puppies, it's less is more. We've found that terriers don't like to be overtrained.
Why does that not surprise me?
Oh, honestly. So that socialization in the early days is really, really important. What do we do? Oh, weaning. Weaning's a big thing. And a stage that I say I don't like it. I like things ordered and organised and timed, and that weaning just isn't one of those phases in a puppy's life. So we'll start introducing them. If my mum's feeling particularly ambitious, she'll make an egg custard, because that's a lovely consistency.
An egg custard?
Yeah, so that's what we'll wean them onto, yeah.
Okay.
Like egg, I know, yeah. Egg custard. Mum makes an egg custard. Yeah, but there's always, whenever she brings me a bowl round, there's always a spoonful missing. Because she had to sample it for the puppies. Of course, yes, absolutely. Egg custard, they love that. And then we use raw puppy mince. So that's raw meat based on a chicken with it's 80% meat, 10 veg, 10 bone, I think it is, 80-20, I can't remember the consistency. So we wean it onto meat, goat's milk yogurt. Dogs can't digest, they don't have the enzymes to be able to digest cow's milk. So everything is goat's milk. Sometimes we'll make goat's milk rice pudding. But that constitutes cooking, of which we know I don't really do. So we'll soak kibble. We use Omni, which is a vegan food, and Royal Canin, or Fish for Dogs, but mostly Royal Canin, to be honest. Soak those kibbles in goat's milk and then mush them up and feed those in the early days. Starts quite runny and then gets firmer and firmer. And very often you'll spend 10 minutes prepping their food, taking their food, take it into them, only to find the bitches in there feeding them. So then it's like a waste of time, because they're not going to want what I've prepped. So that has to go in the fridge. So timing, really, when you're weaning, can be a bit of a pain. But it's all good fun. Here we go again with 2 different puppies this time. Weaning. So the hope with weaning is that we get into a routine and get down to 4, 5, 6 meals a day. Each litter varies. These are currently on 4 meals a day at what are they, nearly 8 weeks of age. And that routine just comes from timings, the timing I'm getting up, the time the babies wake up, what's happening during the day. So we've settled into, like I say, 4 with these. So they'll be fed 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, then about 10ish, then about 2ish, and then they'll have an evening meal anywhere between 6 and 10 at night. I don't stick to rigid times. It's more kind of early morning, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and supper time.
Whenever they start squeaking when I'm here, they start squeaking at me.
House training. Lots of people struggle with house training, but if you work with the puppy's natural instinct right from when they're tiny, it's actually incredibly easy to house train doggies. So when they're tiny babies and still in the nest with mom, and they're not really shuffling about, all they do is just milky bar, sleep, milky bar, sleep. Once eyes come, then they start wandering around the box. Then by the time they're usually somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks of age, we I forgot to say, when we whelp into the oval plastic box. Then when all the whelping's done and we've got all our puppies neatly lined up at the Milky Bar, we'll transfer them into a cut down cardboard box that we make into whelping boxes with the rails around the edge and a cutout at the front and a piece of carpet in the middle that the babies and the mummies lie on. The carpet's there for grip for the puppies to make sure you can get to mummy in the Milky Bar. So once they get to about, let's say, 3 weeks, we'll cut the front out of the cardboard box so then they can come out into like a little small run area.
Yeah.
And we'll put this time we used washable toilet mats, so we fill that area with washable toilet mats and the pups get used to coming out, and it's a texture thing. They'll feel that under their feet and they know, oh, that's going to wee and poo. But their natural instinct drives them to toilet at the point furthest from where they sleep.
Yeah.
So if you can then work with that instinct, I think they're sleeping here, so then I'm going to put their toilet pads over there. Eventually they'll just toddle out and wee on those toilet pads, and that then is pretty much ingrained for life.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it.
How do you transfer that to teach them to go outside?
You put a toilet pad outside. So the same toilet pad, well, not exactly the same one, but, you know, at the equivalent, we always send pups off to new homes with 2 toilet pads. So one will go in the puppy's bedroom and then one goes outside.
Okay.
So you put the one outside, you pick the puppy up and plonk it on it so it knows where it is. And then you'll find it will run either wee in the house on the toilet mat or outside on the toilet mat.
Yeah.
And then when it's about probably between sort of 3 months, 4 months old, you can then pick the one up in the house and it'll only use the one outside the house, outside.
Yeah.
So it's just working with that natural instinct. So yeah, house training's relatively easy. And we recommend when people take a puppy from us that they set it up, we call it a bedroom, but it's in a puppy pen with its bed, toilet tray, water bowl, toys, plenty of space to play, and that becomes that puppy's nest, that bedroom, that place that is special for that puppy. And when the puppy's in there resting, sleeping, it
Kneels.
Nobody touches the puppy, and that's a house rule, you know, because it's the puppy needs to rest. So it's, I always use the analogy that, could you imagine being asleep in bed and then the whole family come upstairs and want to start poking you and playing with you and all the rest of it? It's just kind of, it's out of bounds, isn't it? So that's what we try and say. The puppies, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes. But we don't want you to be disturbed when you're in your bed. No, because you've got to sleep a lot. And we try and work on the routine that they'll wake up, they'll play, eat, play some more, sleep. And then the periods of all of those get very much longer. And that's what we pack them off to their new homes with, is that sort of routine. So up in the morning, feed, say 7 o'clock, play till about 8:30, 9 o'clock, sleep till about 11, and then repeat.
Does it matter if they play straight after they've eaten, or does it?
Not at this age, it doesn't seem to matter. No. They'll quite often, as soon as they eat, then they'll quite often poo, and then they'll be toddling off to play again. As they get older, then you shouldn't exercise that kind of outside exercise for about an hour after they've eaten. So when we come to meet...
He's just off. Come back. No, look,
meet new owners. We always like new owners to visit, so we'll arrange a date and time for them to come. If they come before the pups are 6 weeks old, then they're not allowed to play with them just because of cross-contamination. But the immune system is usually pretty up and working by the time they're 6 weeks. So we'll allow owners then to, you know, sit on the floor and play with them properly.
Do owners choose puppies, or do puppies choose owners? Or is it a bit of both?
A mix of both, because I'm in that mix as well. Because invariably we breed a litter to hopefully find a puppy to show.
Yes.
So what we want is the best show prospect puppy to stay with us or move out to go to a new show home. So we'll invite new owners to come along, and then they select their favourite 3. And then that just gives us a degree of flexibility. Years ago, we allowed people to say, I want that one, or that one. And then we had a puppy unfortunately fail its health test. It had a false positive score And we had to keep the puppy for a lot longer, and the new family were obviously understandably devastated. So that's, we don't want to intentionally upset people, and because we do so much health testing, then I insist that people choose their first 3. Then once we've got all the health test results in, Mum and I will sit and look at the puppies and sort of scrutinise which ones are going to be show dogs and which ones are going to be family pets, and then we assign doggies and arrange for collection dates. And in those early days, it's quite nerve-wracking for people to come and pick a puppy up. So we like to prepare them as much as possible. We do pack up all their meals ready, send them off with food, as much information as possible. That's it with new owners. And the mere fact that we expect people to visit is kind of like a screening process in itself. Because some people, they might live, within an hour, and yet it's too far to come to go and get a puppy.
Yeah.
And other people, come down from Scotland just to say hi to the babies. So it really is individual. What do we do? Worming and fleas. So we don't do any preventative flea treatments. We'll only treat if and when we get fleas. We worm with Panicure puppy paste from 2 weeks of age every 2 weeks.
And is it important to do that?
Yeah, very, because you can occasionally get worms, and we take our dogs to the secure fields where lots of different dogs go and they can pick up things. Yeah. So, yeah, really good. And, of course, a puppy that's full of worms won't be a healthy, well-developed puppy.
So is that okay? So the puppy would then pick something up, presumably eat it?
From its parents, yeah.
So it's not as if passed from the parents to the puppy?
It can be passed from the parents to the puppy. It can be in the environment. And it also can be things dropped. Years ago, we had a problem with, I always forget which one, Giardia or Campylobacter, which was out of bird poo.
Oh, okay.
So,
So it's just something they can, if they picked it up and ingested it or whatever, it can just...
Yeah, and some puppies it'll affect and some it won't.
Yeah.
So
I suppose they must have natural immunity.
Some of them, yeah. So it is just luck of the draw sometimes, and you can't protect against everything all of the time. Otherwise, they'd never go outside. They'd never live a life.
In bubble wrap, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So our pups will always have first vaccinations. Oh, what a big yawn before they leave us. Some will have second as well. But there's the big lepto debate going on about AL2 and AL4 vaccines, and I encourage everybody to do their own research into it. And so our pups will be vaccinated accordingly at 8 weeks, and then 12 weeks as well. You have to work with your vet and what's in your things are in your local area. Look at little brother sat nice and steady.
It's the Rachel influence again.
It is the Rachel influence. Who's got the calmest puppies? Rachel. New owners come and visit. We have a nice chat to them, and they'll choose their top 3, and then from there we'll then arrange a collection date, and a lot of aftercare is put in place. They can ring, any help or advice. But if anyone else has got any questions, feel free to email those in. Rachel, have you got any?
No, I think I've
burning questions
on the way. I think much.
So. Yeah.
My top tip for anybody collecting one of your Cairn Terrier puppies would be: don't wear anything with shoelaces.
Oh yes, the shoelaces.
You can't walk around the house if you've got shoelaces on, because they're just far too entertaining. And you end up with puppies attached to your feet,
shoelaces,
by the teeth and by the nails.
Oh, don't. I know. Yes.
So
good old shoelaces.
Yeah, that's my top tip.
Top tip, no shoelaces, yes.
Especially for Cairn Terrier puppies.
Yes.
Like you. Well, we hope we've been some use anyway today.
Yes, hopefully that's given you some insight into what happens with the puppies.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.